We watched him play a little bit earlier. He is piloting a blue-red Delver deck, and he's going to be playing against
Eddy
Pereira,
who is playing Dredge.
Yeah, a good amount of Dredge in this room today.
With a nice little reanimation target that... He actually has a few nice reanimation targets. He has 3 in the sideboard and 1 in the main deck, and I am excited to see any of them.
Yeah, the Gristlebrand is especially exciting to me because one Gristlebrand activation is enough dredging to dredge your entire library.
Yeah. So, Dredge starts off the game right with a careful study off of a Cephalid Coliseum, discarding no dredgers. Did he mulligan or not? Okay, so for those of you at home, hands without dredgers are not keepable.
That is true.
Go to 3 to, find a dredger. Your deck doesn't work if you don't have a dredger.
And that's a Faithless Looting. A little bit off screen, but Eddy going to draw 2 cards.
Saying a little prayer, hoping that one of them has the word Dredge on them. Okay, so the thing is, Dredge can actually see more cards than any other deck in the format. And the way that it does this is you get to mulligan, and in the process of mulliganing to 3, you get to see 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 cards.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not using cards in hand as a resources dredge.
Right, you just get to see 25 cards to a dredger.
Yeah.
And, if you're willing to go to 3, the odds of you having a hand of land, discard outlet, dredger, draw spell are somewhere in the range of 65 to 70%. There are some good friends of mine at home in the Virginia area who have run the math on this, thousands and thousands and thousands of iterations, and it comes out to between 65 and 70% of just having that hand if you're willing to go to 4, and having land, discard, dredger if you're willing to go to 3. I think you're over 70% to have land, discard, outlet, dredger if you're willing to go to 3 and settle for that.
You can't do it every time though. You can't be willing to push for that because one of the major issues.
You can't always mull to the draw part of that, but you'd need to mull to land, discard, outlet, dredger. Cabal Therapy can be used as such.
Yeah, I mean,
but you need that because Eddy isn't even playing Magic right now. He's just giving Pat a huge,
he does have a
huge
thug
head
now.
start. Right, but this is basically turn 1 for him.
Yep. Goblin Guide coming down for Pat.
And the problem is,
the dredge player.
Discarding 2 bridges that early is also a liability because the Grim Lovemancer, if Pat nugs him at end of turn, and then breaks a fetch land and Lovemancers his Goblin Guide, then the bridges go away, and that's half of Eddy's bridges. His dread returns get weaker. All of his Icarids get pretty eh.
Yeah, Grim Lovemancer, you can tap red mana and sacrifice it basically to remove both those bridges. Which seems like it can be worth it in a spot like this.
No fetch lands, though, means that Grim Lovemancer is pretty impotent right now. And the careful study actually means that we could see a huge turn from Eddy here. Because he's going to careful study and dredge 4, and then if he hits a dredger in one of those 4, he gets to dredge that card, discard, and then activate LED, discard his hand, and activate Cephalid Coliseum with Threshold to draw 3 and discard 3.
Man, Pat has a pretty good read in this game because I think he's thinking about Force of Willing this careful study, and he snapped let the others resolve. All right, so Eddy going to be able to grab that Golgari Troll.
Okay, so there's a Narcomoeba there, and there's a Stinkweed Imp there. He flipped Narcomoeba, land, Faithless Looting.
And another 5 cards being dredged from that Stinkweed Imp. Finds himself the Golgari Grey Troll that he's looking for.
And Surgical's Narcomoeba in response to the triggers.
Super important play from Pat.
Okay, so the way that a Snapcaster deck in this format is supposed to be Dredge is exactly like this. You wait until they flip a Narcomoeba, and that's the first creature you go after with your Surgical Extraction. And then you wait until they flip an Ichorid, and you Snapcast your Surgical Extraction and get their Ichorid.
Yeah, and once you do that, they no longer have any dread return pressure, and you can just kind of win easily. I mean, if
Dredge really needs the linchpins of its free creatures.
Otherwise the deck just doesn't work.
Right. I mean, I have there are some Virginians that have gone so far as to add Memory's Journey into their Dredge lists because they want to beat Surgical Extraction, and it's very, very difficult to win without any Narcomoebas in your deck.
Seems somewhat reasonable, but same sense. I mean, at that point, you're already really far behind.
Yeah.
All right, so Eddy, going ahead, cracking that LED, flashing back a looting, and
he can't sack. He can't looting before the. He can't looting in response. Looting's a sorcery. The Surgical needs to resolve first. Oh, he's LED Coliseuming? Okay, sure. Yeah, so in response to the Surgical, he's activating Self-Led Coliseum, trying to hit more Narcomoebas before they all go away.
Seems very reasonable to me.
Dredging a Grave Troll and another Grave Troll.
Alright, now, Dredge is so weird. People like play with their graveyards face up in the middle of the table. And...
I mean, that's the important zone in their deck.
Yep.
And third Grave Troll. Yep, no Narcomoebas. Jeez.
That could prove to be a major, major issue for Eddy here. So Pat's going to pick up Eddy's deck and look through it real quick, see if he can find any other copies of Narcomoeba. Probably one more in there somewhere.
And there are 15 cards left, if I counted along with Pat correctly, in Eddy's deck. So Eddy will have to walk the tightrope of dredging enough to keep his graveyard fueled and drawing cards so that he doesn't deck himself. Because if he just shotguns 2 Dredge Sixes on his Grave Trolls, then he only has 3 draw steps before he has to kill him.
Yep. Alright, so Pat with another Goblin Guide. Coming in for 4. Going to put Eddy down to 11 here. He does have a Thug as his top card. Yeah, so at this point, just tanking a little bit, deciding what the best course of action is.
Another Surgical is going to come after what I can only assume are his Ichorids. Yeah?
Yep.
And Eddy concedes on the spot.
Yeah. And I mean, as he should. There's really not much he can do there.
He has no more game.
Mm-hmm.
So Pat seems like he knows what he's doing, what his objectives are, his role